Thanks, Buffet. Appreciate it, man. And LD, thank you for your 50. 7 secrets about Overwatch heroes.
Genji was super interesting because Genji and Hanzo started out as the same character. It looked more like Genji than
in the history.
You're 3 subs.
It's like the history of this country.
Listen, Meek, okay? One thing, listen, I haven't been streaming for 40 years, okay? Second point, I like my System of a Down sub sound. Third point, second point, and first point.
And it did Hanzo, but he had a bow, katana, shuriken, and could assassinate people with his katana out of stealth. We moved off of that design for obvious reasons because it made everybody miserable. One of the coolest things about McCree is that his revolver was core to the design. And the reason that that revolver was such an important thing to us is because we loved Half-Life 1 and 2, where they had that amazing revolver that we thought was one of the best guns in the game, and we loved the way it felt, and we wanted to have a character who had a gun that felt like that.
Kind of interesting.
Farah is fascinating because she started out, her internal code name was Rocket Dude, and then eventually we decided that it was going to be a female, so she became Rocket Queen. We have an internal naming convention for all of our heroes, and hers is Rocket Queen. And then everybody always sings the Guns N' Roses song whenever they say that, so that is a little tidbit about Farah.
Here's what you should say for Reaper here. Reaper, in the new patch, will destroy everything.
Reaper is one of the characters that came to us from a previous game we were working on called Titan. And he had an ability that we later put on SOMBRA, which was when characters got low on health, you could see them through the walls. And it created that terrifying feeling of when you were low on health, you knew he was going to be stalking you.
By the way, 20% of his damage heals him now. Ha!
Soldier 76 was a character from one of Chris Metzen's comics that he was writing. And he came up with a character, I believe, in the 90s. He had drawn all these pictures, he had written stories about it. And when we came to working on the story of Overwatch, and we were talking about, you know, sort of this fallen leader type that we wanted to have, basically Chris gave us this character that belonged to him from his own personal life and career, and gave him to Overwatch. So that really is Chris's character.
Kind of interesting.
SOMBRA took a long time to make. Her stealth used to be a passive ability. Whenever she was out of combat, she would go into stealth, and we would tweak the amount of time out of combat into stealth, or the amount of time that it took to go into stealth just in general. And eventually it got to be instant, and SOMBRA was pretty much a nightmare. Tracer is who I want to be when I grow up someday. Her initial design was inspired from a design we had on a previous game. In that game it was called the Jumper, and it was just a class. Whenever we used to describe Tracer to people, hey, we're gonna make this game. It has this character that can blink 30 meters across the map as fast as you can press the button. People would always say to us, that's horribly broken and you can't make a game like that. It'll never be balanced.
Hey, if you enjoyed this video, you should check out our 5 secrets about Overwatch.
I mean, Fair Mercy isn't exactly balanced, Jeff, but who am I to say anything? I am no game dev. Anywho, thank you for the 50. I actually hadn't seen that. Thank you for your 50, LD. I appreciate it. And thank you again, Buffet, for the top D of the day. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. How can you say the term balanced when pharmacy is the thing in this video game? All right. So I'm going to click these.